Hey guys, so today we are going to go over indirect measurement. You guys have already been using it with proportions and cross multiplying and dividing, so it shouldn't be too bad. So the first thing, you're going to fill in these notes and then you're going to have activity that you do on your own. The first part says defined is the process of using similar shapes. So you're filling in the word similar shapes. So similar shapes and proportions to find measurement. Okay, your next part that you're filling in is indirect measurement. So the actual definition of indirect measurement. Can be used to find the measurement of objects that are too difficult to directly measure, such as the height of a building or a tree. These things have to be similar, okay, and you set up proportions to help you when you do indirect measurement. Now they're telling you that triangles ABC and LMN are similar. Remember, this symbol right here means similar, okay? Means similar. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to find my corresponding angles. Remember, corresponding angles means that your angles are sitting in the same spot. So if I go to A is sitting at the top of the triangle. So I'm going to go to the big and find the one that's sitting at the top. The one that's also sitting at the top is N. So A and N are partners. Next, I'm going to drop down from A. I see B. So I'm going to drop down for N, and I get M, okay? Next, I'm going to follow through, and I'm going to find C. So I'm going to do the same thing with the big one, and I'm going to go across, and I have L. So now that I've found my corresponding sides, my corresponding angles, my corresponding angles, I know that they're congruent, meaning that they are sitting in the same spot. The next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to find the corresponding sides, and then we're going to use those proportions to help us. So the first one I'm going to look for is A to B. So I have AB, and since that's from blue to green, my next matching pair is also going to be from blue to green. So I have NN as matching pair. My next matching pair after that, I'm going to have BC, and BC is going to match with ML. And my last diagonal matching is I'm going to have AC, and AC matches NL. So now, not only do I have corresponding angles, meaning they're sitting in the same position, but I also have corresponding sides. So I have 9 and 42 together. I have 12 and 31.5 together. Then I have 15 and X. So we're going to use all of this information to help us determine what X is. So we're trying to figure out what he is. A says determine the corresponding sides of the figure. Okay, so that's what we just did. So now we're going to lay it out. So we're saying that AB, so our AB matches with our NM. So I have line NM. Next I have BC. So it's the bottom of the triangle. I'm going from the green circle to the pink circle. So it would be ML. So I have line ML. Next I have AC. So I'm going to have NL. Okay, so now that I have my corresponding sides, I'm going to go to B, and it says to set up a proportion based on the corresponding sides. So they set up AB, so I'm going to go to AB. AB is 9, so I'm going to fill in the 9. Next thing I'm going to do is I have AC, so I'm going to find AC's measurement. AC is 15. So now I'm going to go and I'm going to fill in this one. I have LM. So LM, I have 31.5. LMLN. Change that on y'all's paper. So we did AB and then we did AC. So we need to do NM over NL. Okay, so change that on your paper. It should say NM, not LM. So NM. So your NM is 42. And then we do not know what LN is, so we're going to put an X. So now from here, you're going to cross multiply. You're going to cross multiply these two, and you're going to divide by by 9. So if you set it up, you have 9x equals, next thing I have to do is I have to do 15 times 42. So I'm going to go to the back. I'm going to do 42 times 15. So that gives me 10. 5 times 4 is 20. 20 plus 1 is 21. Put a 0. 1 times 2 is 2. 1 times 4 is 4. So you have 0, 3, 6. So we have 630. So we have 9x equals 630. So next, after you cross multiply, you are going to do division to undo to find just one x. So I'm going to divide by 9 and divide by 9. So I'm going to put 630 inside the house and put 9 on the outside. 9 cannot go into 6. 9 can go into 63. It can go into 63 7 times. So it gives me a 63. 0, bring down Mr. 0. 9 goes into 0, so 0 times. So that would be that our x equals 70. So x is 70 centimeters. Okay, so if indirect measurement, you have to make sure that you know the corresponding angles and the corresponding sides. Those sides are proportional, and since they're proportional, you can set them equal to each other, and then you have to cross multiply and divide. Okay, so you will see it some with shapes, but you're mainly going to see it like comparing real world objects. So on this one, they're comparing a boy to a tree. Okay, so you have the boy is 6 feet tall, and the tree, we don't know how tall the tree is. So 6 and x are our partners, and then the shadow of the boy is 8 feet, and then the shadow of the tree is 24. Okay, so it's really good to also color code on this, or just to pay really close attention to it, but I highly suggest doing the color codes. So you set a proportion to show the relationship between the actual heights to the length of the shadow. So since we know the boy, we know all of his information, I'm going to put the boy right here. This is going to be the tree because we are missing parts from his. So now the actual height of the boy is 6. The length of his shadow is 8. So now I'm going to go to the tree. The height of the tree, we don't know. You have the variable x. Okay. Then the length of the shadow of the boy, of the tree is 24. Okay. So now that I have it set, we're going to do what we did here. We're going to cross multiply, and then after you cross multiply, you're going to divide. Okay. So I have 8x is equal to, I have to do 24 times 6. So 6 times 4 is 24. 6 times 2 is 12. 12 plus 2 is 14. So I have 144. Okay, now that you have the equation 8x equals 144, you want to know what 1x is, not 8x's. So you have to undo multiplication with division. So you're going to divide by 8, divide by 8. So I'm going to put 144 inside the house and put 8 on the outside. So 8 goes into 14 one time. 14 minus 8 is 6. Bring down the 4. 8 goes into 64 8 times. So x, the height of the tree, would be 18 feet. Okay, and you can see if that is reasonable. Okay, well, the boy's 6 foot, so 18 feet is reasonable for the height of a tree. If you plug it in, you can also see this, okay? If you look to get from shadow, to get from 8 to 24, you times by 3. So if you're timesing the shadows by 3, you also have to do the same thing to the heights. So if you look at the heights, 6 times 3 also gives you 18. Okay, so that's a way that you can check it. Okay, so when you're dealing with indirect measure, okay, you need to make sure that you know what is corresponding, whether it be the sides and angles or the heights and its shadow. You set up a proportion using this. After you set up that proportion, you're going to cross multiply. After you cross multiply, you're going to divide, and then you're going to go back and check. Number one, like with these, with the height of a tree or a height of a building or a height of a flagpole, you can check, like you can think like reasonableness, or you can look from shadow to shadow, what's the pattern? And is there the same pattern going from height to height? Okay, I hope you found this helpful. I'm going to make another video explaining how to do your activity, and then you will turn in your activity with the groundhog. So I hope that you guys have a great weekend, and I will see you on Monday. Thank you guys for behaving for our sub. Bye.